Hashibira Inosuke, the god of the mountain, expert in getting your name right 1 in 7 times and the series best girl of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba franchise. So what have we got here today? We'll move away from the fighters for a bit and take a look at the wild beast breathing style with the Barbarians' Path of the Mountain. Welcome to My Wife is the MC. I'm DMV and you're watching Husbando Homebrew, a show where we take pop culture to pen and paper. Today we'll be coming around the mountain and go back to the roots of this show with a new barbarian subclass, the Path of the Mountain. Before we get to that, did you know that 1 in 7 viewers hit the like and subscribe button? You should be one of them and be part of the fun statistic. If this is your first time here, know that this is the 3rd homebrew that we're doing for the Demon Slayer franchise. So if you're interested in the fire or water breathing styles, well, you know what to do. Before I continue, I want to give a shout out to Justin of Cosplay Battle for showing some love our way in our Ko-Fi page. Your generosity is a really big milestone for us, and it really means a lot. Thank you so much. Back to the subclass. This primal path is themed after the wild ferocity of nature, specifically the mountains. Like our boar-headed brawler, this character option is intended for the self-taught barbarian of the wilds, using its untamed nature to turn the predatory demons into prey. Part 1. Boisterous Breathing. Just to be clear, I named it the Path of the Mountain and not Path of the Beast because that subclass already exists in official content. Now that that's out of the way, let's take a look at the first few features of this subclass. 3rd level, you get 2 features. The first is Animal Imitation. This one kind of gives the fighting initiate for free, as it allows you to take a fighting style from the fighter class. I added this in because of Inosuke's 2-weapon fighting style for the most part, but I figured players can make a beast-breathing demon slayer that carries a massive sword. Now that I think about it, is there a demon slayer who uses crushing force? Like a Nichiren Maul or something? Anyway, moving on. The second feature at 3rd level and core to the subclass is Beast Breathing. This might be a little strange for a barbarian since this one grants several attack options, but the intent is to provide a mechanical expression of the many fangs of the beast breathing style. This feature also has 2 properties. First is Fangs. This one is the beast breathing equivalent to the Warrior of Breath's forms. Similar to that subclass, you learn the first 4 fangs at 3rd level, 5th to 7th fangs at 6th level, and the 8th to 11th fangs at 10th level. Unlike the Warrior of Breath, however, this one has a constitution-based saving throw because building a barbarian can go real MAD real fast. So as part of 3rd level, let's take a look at the fangs. 1st to 4th fangs. Unlike the Warrior of Breath, fangs can only be used once per turn and only while you're raging. This is to keep it more or less in line with the other barbarian subclasses in terms of balancing. Ho ho, balancing, he says. Anyway, so the first fang, Pierce. Stab at your target's neck. Yep, it's that simple. Deals 1d4 extra damage if you use it by itself, but the kicker is that the damage goes up to 1d6 if you're grappled, or 1d8 if you're restrained. Second fang, Slice. Replace one of your attacks with a huge, cross-shaped strike in a 10-foot cube. Deals 1d12 plus rage damage on a failed dex save or half as much on a success. Third fang, Devour. This is a wild one. Add 1d4 to your attack roll, and if both the d20 and the d4 is a 20 or higher, your hit becomes a crit. Fourth fang, Slice and Dice. Assault your enemy from all directions with an additional 2d4 damage and knocking it prone on a failed strength save. This is gonna be your kit for the coming levels, but worry not. You'll be able to do cooler stuff as we go along. Part 2. Beastly Bite. For this section, we'll be looking at the 6th level feature and the different fangs you have access to. So at 6th level, you get Second Bite. Now that you have an extra attack, you can use 2 fangs on your turn. Similar to the forms of the Warrior of Breath, however, you can only use 1 fang per attack, and you can't use the same fang consecutively. 6th level also grants you access to 5th to 7th fangs. 5th fang, Crazy Cutting. Flail about like a crazy wild boar man and replace your attack with a 2d6 burst of 2d6 slicing goodness. 2d8 if you're in midair. 6th Fang Palisade Bite, also known as the Ara Ara Auchi. Restrain your target if it fails a strength save by sinking your weapon right into them. Then start sawing away with an extra 1d8 damage on your next attack. 7th Fang Spatial Awareness. This is technically the second 6th level feature, as you can use this Fang even when you're not raging. It does, however, expend one of your rage uses as an action, and in turn, you get to step on the ranger's shoes for a bit by identifying humanoids, fiends, or other baddies within a 1 mile radius. 6 miles if you're up a mountain. Next up, we'll look at the 10th and 14th level features in the final set of Fangs.
Part 3. Angry Boar.
At 10th level, you get something that harkens back to the Warrior of Breath's feature. For the Path of the Mountain, you get Total Concentration Raging. It's not a haste per se, because a hasted barbarian is a frightening thing to see. Instead, you get to add your rage damage bonus to a few saving throws as a reaction. You also suppress the effects of poison and exhaustion while you're raging. I didn't want to make it too complex given that rage doesn't allow for spellcasting or concentration, and I figure it's thematically sound given that Inosuke is a self-taught demon slayer who only started formal training when he was already given a rank. Another thing at 10th level, the last Fangs in your repertoire. Final Fangs. 8th Fang, Explosive Rush. Take the dash action and run around like a child with scissors and bring in that 1d6 hurt to any fool who happens to be in your way. Adds your rage damage bonus too, which might come in handy when you see the subclass capstone feature. 9th Fang, Extending Bendy Slash. This one does 3 things. 1. It adds an extra 5 feet of reach to your melee weapon attacks. 2. It adds your rage damage bonus to your attack rolls when you do so. And 3. It freaks people out because you have to dislocate your joints in order to do this. 10th Fang, Whirling Fangs. Replace one of your attacks to spin your weapon rapidly and gain an AC bonus equal to your rage damage bonus, doubly so when facing ranged attacks. This Fang also generates moderate winds, so any fog cloud or similar effect will likely get blown away. 11th and final Fang, Sudden Throwing Strike! This is an improvised Fang where you just outright chuck your weapon at your enemy. This one grants the thrown property to your melee weapons for a time. During this time, you can use Reckless Attack and 2-weapon fighting for thrown weapons. After looking over at the Fangs, let's look at the Path of the Mountain's final feature. The subclass capstone is the 14th level feature, Repetitive Action Boar Rush. This isn't the same as the Warrior of Breath's ability to regain uses, hence the Boar Rush subtitle. Instead, the Path of the Mountain's repetitive action allows you to expend rage at the start of your turn to double your rage damage bonus for a short time. This is a twice per long rest feature.
Part 4. Your turn.
So how was the journey up the mountain path? Let me know in the comments down below how I should have just made a fork of the fighter Battlemaster instead of tinker with barbarians like I haven't hurt them enough with a deck of homebrew. Remember to check out the full document in the Ko-Fi link in the description down below. If this was something you found interesting, do let me know by leaving a like. And while you're here, might I interest you in checking out the rest of our stuff? Would love to have you. Make sure you subscribe and get notified for more D&D homebrew content. Remember to share this video and sacrifice it to the mountain gods. As always, thank you for being here, and I really appreciate you for making it to the end of the video. This has been My Wife is DMC. I'm DMV, and I'll see you in the next Husbando Homebrew.